Chapter 1. The crescent moon was like a hook. Its silvery threads of light penetrated through a circular hole and into the dark prison. A figure wearing rough sackcloth was curled up in the corner of the cell, his blank and unfocused gaze staying on the silvery patch of light on the ground. A breeze seemed to blow outside, as pink petals drifted about. The cold prison in the middle of the forest was almost beautiful. Was it spring outside? His staring gaze began to slightly turn about, locking on the round hole above him where a fine steel mesh fence blocked some of the moonlight in the night sky. But suddenly, stomping sounds broke through the deathly stillness that had not been broken for several years. The fine steel fence, whose cross-sections were as thick as his thumb, slowly opened. His pitch-black pupils finally reflected the moonlight. Tian Shao absent-mindedly focused on the gate, and slowly stood up. It had been opened? Were they about to let him go? He took unsteady steps towards the gate, but immediately a black figure was thrown into the prison cell without any show of mercy. The fence was closed without pity yet again. The sounds of footsteps that came from outside slowly faded. Tian Shao blankly stared at the girl in black on the floor. By the way, her chest still moved weakly. He could tell she was still alive. He hadn't seen a live person in such a long time. Half distracted, half curious, he crouched down next to the girl. She seemed to have been born with an extremely severe injury. Even though he could not see bloodstains on her clothes, watery blood slowly seeped out onto the floor. Tian Shao extended his one hand, but before he could touch her, the girl suddenly captured his palm and got up. Tian Shao only felt an immense force knock him over, as his body suddenly sank into the ground. The girl had pushed him down and was controlling his movements. Immediately following this, his neck soon became cold, as a dagger was pushed against his windpipe. With just a tiny bit of force, he could lose his life. Tian Shao looked at her blankly. The girl's figure was too thin. As the moonlight projected onto her back, from what he could see, the girl was like a god that was worshipped at a shrine. Her head was emitting light. He moved his hand, wanting to touch the girl's face, but he was immediately held down again. With a smothered cough, a few drops of blood fell from the corner of her mouth onto the side of Tian Shao's face. A scarlet and winding arc was drawn on his wan face, a ghastly sight. Who are you? The girl's coarse and heavy breaths fell onto Tian Shao's face, bringing with them the girl's distinctive smell. Tian Shao was unable to concentrate for a heartbeat. He remembered many years ago, in the women's quarters in the palace, his imperial mother had also hugged him within her bloodied embrace, and coaxed him, "Tian Shao, do not be afraid." If it wasn't for meeting this person today, he would never have recalled those ancient memories. The former crown prince. Tian Shao's voice sounded rough from a long time of disuse. Tian Shao. Such a long time had already passed, and he hadn't felt this warm since. Tian Shao slowly closed his eyes, some pink petals floating in to fall upon his face. He thought, the peach blossoms outside must be extremely moving, and bright and beautiful. End of chapter 1.